He's like, I don't care about spending the money. I'm going to spend it. So, and I'm paraphrasing, but that's exactly what he said. He said, I had the money. I'm spending it. It's a fact.
This guy has statues in his house worth $100 million, like paintings. And
yeah.
What does he get out of that? He looks at a painting and he's like, all right, that's cool. And that's it. Like he buys paintings that are worth more than the contracts of the players he's paying.
Yeah.
By the way, it's insane.
It's insane. It's insane. It's only gonna get worse. So I'm calling him the Steve Ballmer of the MLB because he doesn't care about spending money. He's going to do it. He just says.
And he did say, I don't care if I make money or not. Like, this is philanthropy to me. Like, this is a hobby. This is what it is. It'd be cool to see the Mets win. And I think part of it is he really does believe, part of it definitely played a factor that he was a Yankee last year and he got the Yankees to the World Series. There's no doubt about it. If he was playing for, Boston, do I think Cohen cares as much about stealing him away? Probably not. If he was a Diamondback or whatever, I don't think he would have cared that much. But the fact that he could stick it to the crosstown rival and the franchise that's perceived as big brother to the Mets.
That's why you should hate him. I'm just saying, if somebody comes in.
I mean, listen, I don't fault Soto. I don't fault Cohen. The Steinbrenners, they have nothing compared to Cohen. I mean, literally, if you look at the difference in money.
Hold on, Ticket. Key component. Cashman came out and said that Soto did not give them an opportunity to match.
But they wouldn't have.
That's a fact. Well, give him an opportunity, though. The fact that he's not willing to do that also should spit right into Yankees' faces. Like, that's a punch in the gut.
I think that's easy for, the average fan to, take it that way. I also know deep down that it never would have ended like you said. It just would have been a bidding war. Okay, so we match. Then Soto goes to Cohen and says, hey, they said they'll pay me $765. What's your number? And then Cohen would have went to $780 or $790 or $800. Whatever it was, Cohen was not going to be denied. And I think Cashman deep down knows that. I also think the Red Sox floated whatever story they want out there just to appease the fan base of, hey, we tried, but that's a lot of money. We can't afford that. And then the fans eat it up. They're like, okay, well, we tried Soto, but it took a generational billionaire to steal him away from the Yankees. So
yeah, but we don't know that. You're just speculating.
I think they are just trying to keep everyone quiet. The Sox, they don't care about winning. They don't want to win.
No. You're right about that. They don't want to win just yet. I got to see what they do the rest of the offseason in order to make it happen. But talking about the Red Sox very quickly, Garrett Crochet, was traded from the Chicago White Sox to the Red Sox. And it was a big move for them. They did have to get rid of one of their top prospects in Kyle Teal, really good catcher, Braden Montgomery, Chase Meredith, and then Wickelman Gonzalez. So my overall point with this is you look at the John Lester, disagreement, right? That kind of stemmed from, going after guys that are in their 30s. But wait, it didn't, because they also traded for a guy like Chris Sale. Then they went out and got a guy like David Price. I think that recently it was kind of like you can see one side with the grass is greener, and you can see where the grass is greener is on the other side. So the John Lester thing, John Lester didn't really work out with the Cubs. He had one good year after that, right? So that's a chalk up for the win on the Red Sox part. With Chris Sale, he got injured a lot. They won a World Series. David Price won the World Series. He also got hurt. But I look at the overall concept with the Red Sox. They're not going to pay 30-year-old pitchers. It's just a point that they want to be in the discussions. They are the interest kings when it comes to 30-year-old plus pitchers, because that's a need that they need, and they want to put it out there for their fans. So I agree when it comes to 30-plus-year-old pitchers, because I don't believe in what the reports say with them being interested when it comes to these conversations. Because if you look at it, Max Fried had conversations with the Red Sox before the winter meetings even started. And then the Yankees got involved, and the Juan Soto thing was so glorified by the Red Sox that, oh, we're in it. We're in the race, that they got so blindsided with the Max Fried signing because they weren't so engaged with where Max Fried and Scott Boras wanted to be. Now, moving forward to Corbin Burns, this is another example. He's a West Coast guy. He doesn't want to come East Coast. Well, guess what? If you want him to become an East Coast guy, you got to cough up some extra dough. So with
Yeah,
Scott Boras,
the Godfather offer.
right? And it's like you look at the Blue Jays, you look at the Giants, and the Mets were in it. But I think that ultimately the Giants get him or Toronto, and then you add another arm to that division. So you got to show promise with your fans that there is an opportunity for this team to get better. They went out and were cheap in getting Garrett Crochet. Now Garrett Crochet is under contract. He has arbitration next year. He is a free agent. The following. So he only has like 2 more years left. So you have to assign him to an extension. Now, this is the caveat. If you're going to trade top prospects for a guy for a 2-year rental, well, guess what? It's not worth it. If you go out and extend that guy, we all know that answer. So we got to figure out if the Red Sox are willing to extend years on a 25-year-old pitcher, which I can see them doing because guess what? He's not 30 plus years old. People have to understand that when they see those reports, they can't get excited because they don't want 30 plus year old pitchers. They've seen it with Derek Price and Chris Sale. They don't want any of it. So take it with a grain of salt when you see that. And I really like the move of Garrett Crochet. And I hear there's reports of them looking into the Mariners, starting rotation as well. But I don't know if there's a fit right there. Maybe look at Dylan Cease out in San Diego Padres.
Rumor, yeah.
So that's another rumor out there. Maybe they could get Fernando Tatis thrown into the mix there. But one move that I did like for the Mets, and you can relate to this because he was on your team, is Luis Severino. Severino. I really like him. He's a good right-handed pitcher. He has like a sub-4 ERA. He could throw innings on innings. I know he's in his 30s, but he's finding a way to make things happen with the starting rotation. And he throws really fast. He's got great stuff. He has a lot of pitching mechanics that have been thrown into the mix over the years that have caused him to be a starting pitcher. So I do like his fastball. I like his curveball. His changeup needs a little bit of work. But when it's all said and done with the Mets, that was actually a really good. The Oakland A's he went to. He went to the Oakland A's. He went to the Oakland A's. That was a great signing by the Oakland A's to get their franchise again rebooted into the right direction as they head to Vegas. So that was one of my favorite signings.
It's funny, the Severino's contract, by the way, less than the signing bonus that Juan Soto's is getting.
Wow.
Is that crazy?
That's nuts.
And Severino, like you said, was an effective, the Mets were certainly relying on Severino for duration of the year and the postseason. He was a guy that at one point in his career was a frontline starter with the Yankees, won 19 games one year with us.
Yep.
And he's still, obviously he had the injury. He's come back. He's proven he can pitch and pitch at a high level still. So, definitely a good signing. It's weird to see the A's spend a little bit of money like that. But, you talked about Corbin Burns and obviously the Sox. The rumors were, Yankees are obviously looking at him and Fried, and the Red Sox, the Blue Jays. Like you, I think he ends up with the Giants. The Giants have a lot of money that they, over the years, you're going back to Aaron Judge, where they, potentially thought they were going to be all in on him. They ended up landing him. Obviously, then they get Ohtani. And they've got quite a lot of money just kind of freed up. They're not really spending it on anybody right now. And Burns being a West Coast guy, I think he's going to go to the Giants. Also, he just looks like he would pitch and he just looks like a Giant. He's got the beard,
yes,
that orange and black. He just kind of fits it. And I guess we kind of saw the orange and black with the Orioles last year, same color scheme. But
so why don't we go down the list here? Why don't we go down the list here? We kind of discuss, who's available, where we think they fit, and a ballpark of what their contract may look like. As we know, all the dollars being thrown right now, it's crazy. So we might not even get to that point. But Paul Goldschmidt, where do you think he fits?
Oof. I would love to see him in pinstripes because we could use a first baseman. Goldie he's an interesting case, and kind of like his counterpart or his infield mate, Nolan Arenado, who is being the talks of maybe trade rumors this offseason as well. This guy's a former MVP. He's pitched at a hit at a high level. He's kind of struggled a little bit with the Cardinals. So you wonder how much he kind of has left in the tank. And obviously, Pete Alonso is looked at as the prize for the first base class,
Yeah.
I would say.
Yeah.
I don't know. He does feel like he's going to fit in. If he's not playing first, obviously a very high-end, designated hitter. I'd be curious to see how he plays in that role. Christian Walker, by the way, another guy that has been looked at, and I'm sure we'll talk about maybe a little bit briefly, but Christian Walker, another guy that's probably a little bit more desirable than him in the market right now, just because of how he's played. I'd be curious. I think he'd be a really good fit on a team like the Royals or the Tigers, who kind of need a veteran presence to that young core. That would be an interesting fit for me, is if he goes somewhere where he can kind of be a good locker room presence, obviously still contribute and look to contribute. That would be interesting to me. I would like to see him with one of those younger teams in the American League, who, obviously they can kind of use him or platoon him DH first base, and just be somebody that's looked up to for those young cores. The Indians may be another one, another option.
Guardians.
Guardians. I remembered watching some football Commanders, but not the Guardians.
He did. Paul Goldschmidt, it's funny you mentioned the Detroit Tigers. They are interested. John Morosi has reported it. And so that might be the best fit. I agree with you on the Yankees, though, because I think Christian Walker might be too much for their liking. I hear he's getting, pretty good bids out there and contract offers. I forget the teams that might be involved, but I think Paul Goldschmidt may be an alternative option if they do select to go into a different direction. So I do like that pick with the Yankees. I really think that's a good fit. Teoscar Hernandez. Let's talk about that one. I'll begin that one. The Dodgers and Red Sox are obviously the finalists, as John Heyman has reported multiple times, and John Morosi as well. I look at Teoscar Hernandez as a guy that has been overlooked really in this free agency. He bats 280. He's 32 years old. I get that. But he bats like 280 the past 4 years. He can hit around 30 to 35 home runs, maybe get higher around 40. I think he fits perfect at Fenway Park. And I know the Dodgers really want him back. But you also heard it from Brandon Gomes today. There was a little bit of a hesitancy when it came to it with him, at a actually an interview live on MLB Network. And you could just hear a little bit of uncertainty if that deal was going to get done. And he started talking about, Michael Converno, which they, grabbed in free agency, recently too. So locking him up, finding a way to squeeze in Teoscar with what they have on the books, maybe too much for their liking. But if I'm the Red Sox, I'm going after Teoscar Hernandez. He fits perfectly in left. Then you have center with Duran, and then you got Roman Anthony in right. And then you can make things happen, obviously, with the bats. You do need protection, within that batting order with Rafael Devers. That has been a struggle throughout the years. Tristan Casas, you're not relying on. He's been hurt, and hopefully gets back to where he was in 2022. But I think he's going to have to find a way